Hello, I welcome you all in this course on power plant engineering. Today we will solve some numericals based on the lectures on the previous weeks. So we will start with a numerical on the gas turbines. Okay. A gas turbine plant consists of one turbine for compressor drive and another for output. It means there are two turbines. So there is one compressor, air is coming from here. After getting compressed, it has two turbines. One turbine is exclusively driving this compressor. Another turbine is producing the output, right? So, and both are having their own combustion chamber. So, this combustion chamber, one combustion chamber is here, right? And another combustion chamber is also there. And from this turbine, we are getting the output. Output is attained from turbine 2, and T1 is specifically used for driving the compressor, right. So, output of T1 is going to the compressor, output of T2 is being used by the consumer. Own combustion chamber which are served by the air directly from compressor. So, the air for both the turbines or both the combustion chamber is directly coming from the combustion chamber, right. So, air is getting compressed in a compressor, then air is divided in two parts. One part is going to combustion chamber of turbine which is driving the compressor, another part of the air is going to separate combustion chamber which is driving the turbine which is giving the output. The air enters the compressor at 100 kilopascal close to the atmospheric pressure and 15 degrees centigrade temperature, and is compressed with an isentropic efficiency of 0.76. I mean the efficiency of the compressor is 76%. Gas inlet temperature and pressure in both turbines are 680 degree centigrade, 500 kilopascal. It means at the entry level for both the turbines, the temperature is same, right. But one turbine is producing only that much output which is sufficient to drive the compressor. So, mass flow rate in both the turbine is not same, it is different. The isentropic efficiency of turbine is 0.86. The mass flow rate of air at compressor inlet is 23 kg per second. So, it is possible out of this 23 kg, 7-8 kg is going to the turbine which is driving the compressor, remaining 15-16 kg per second is going to another turbine which is giving the output. Calorific value of fuel is 42 megajoules per kg or 42,000 kilojoules per kg. Calculate the output of the plant and thermal efficiency. We have to calculate two things, output of the plant and thermal efficiency assuming specific heat of the air. This is specific heat of the air, specific heat ratio for air. This is, you can see here, specific heat of flue gases, SPG. This is specific heat of the gases. So, this is 1.128, it is higher than the specific heat of the air, because here after burning the fuel is also mixed with the air, and gamma for this is also 1.34, right. So, first of all we will draw the temperature entropy diagram at two pressures, pressure 1 and pressure 2. State 1 to state 2, state 2 to state 3 and 3 to 4, right. Now, the pressure ratio is given directly from enters and is compressed to isentropic the gas 500 kilopascal. So, the pressure ratio is 500 divided by 100, it is equal to 5. Because RP we are going to often use. Inlet temperature T1 is 15 plus 273 is equal to 288 Kelvin, right. Now, we will find the value of T2. T2 is going to be equal to T1 RP raised to power gamma minus 1 over gamma. T1 is 288, RP is 5, gamma minus 1, it is 1.4 minus 1 divided by 1.4. So, if we solve this, we are going to get the value of T2 as 4 456.3 Kelvin. This is the temperature of gases at state 2. But it has certain efficiency, compressor has certain efficiency of 0.76. So, we will use the formula T2 minus T1 divided by T2 dash minus T1 is going to be equal to 0.76, or T2 dash is equal to T1 plus T2 minus T1 divided by efficiency, that is 0.76. T1 is known to us, 288, plus T2 minus T1, this is T2 minus T1, that is 456.3 minus how much? 456 minus 288 divided by 0.76, and this will give us the T2 dash is 509.5 Kelvin. So, T2 dash we have got this much. Now, T3 is known to us. Now, T3 is given here 680 degree centigrade. So, 680 plus 273, it is going to be equal to 953 Kelvin. Now, we have temperatures at state 1, state 2 dash, state 3, right. Now, for state 4 pressure T4, again T4 is equal to T3 divided by Rp raised to power. Now, gamma here, the gamma will come for the gamma for flue gases. So, gamma minus 1 over gamma, and T3 is 953 divided by 5 raised to power, here gamma is 1.34. So, 1.34 minus 1 divided by 1.34, right, and this will provide the value of T4 as 633.56 Kelvin. It is quite high. If you compare with the 2 dash, it is quite high, 509 and 633.56. Now, compressor work, because compressor work has, because T4 is taking place in 2 different turbines, because pressures are same, that is why I have shown in single process, otherwise this process T2 3 to 4 physically is taking place in 2 different turbines. So, now the work of the compressor is for 1 kg of air, we are considering only 1 kg of air, it is Cp T2 dash minus T1, Cp is 1.005 for air and T2 dash is 509.5 minus T1 is 288. This is work of the compressor, and the work of the compressor is 222.6 kilowatt per kg. Now, we will go for the work of turbine. Work of turbine is Cp gas T3 minus T4 dash. Now, Cp of gas is 1.34, T3 is 953 minus T4 dash is T4 dash we have not calculated, sorry, this is calculated, and T4 dash, if you calculate, T4 dash is equal to T3 minus T4 divided by T3 minus T4 multiplied by efficiency of the compressor, right. So, this T4 dash is going to be 678.28 Kelvin. Here also we have taken, because for this formula we have taken efficiency of the turbine is equal to T3 minus T4 dash divided by T3 minus T4. Because here CPG will be cancelled out, otherwise it is enthalpy at 3 minus enthalpy at 4 dash, because specific heat is getting cancelled out. So, efficiency of the turbine is T3 minus T4 dash divided by T3 minus T4. So, we have just manipulated here as T4 dash as efficiency of the turbine T3 minus T4 plus T3 minus T4 multiplied by efficiency of the turbine, and we have got this value 678. So, 78.28 Kelvin we have taken here, and this gives the work of the turbine as 309.88 kg per minute. This is also per kg, right? So mass of the gas multiplied by the mass of the air, it is going to be 222.6 divided by 309.88 is equal to 0.7183 kg, and this is gas. This is gas. It means instead of, because see the output of the gas, this turbine which is operating between 3 to 4 per kg of gas is this much. Output of input to the compressor per kg of air is this much. So it means we don't have to provide the flow rate of 1 kg per second in the turbine. It has to be less than that. How much less? Then we have taken the ratio. Now if you multiply this by this one, you will get this one. So mass flow rate of the gas has to be this much. Mass flow rate of the gas, if you multiply this by 309, obviously you are going to get this much, and this much of the energy is required. So this much amount of gas is required. 1 kg of air is entering from here. Now what is the quantity of gas which is available at state 3? Now quantity of the gas, now here there is a correction. This is gamma. The CPG is 1.128. Right, this 1.34 is gamma. So now we have to find how much mass of fuel is being burned per kg of air. Once we know the mass of the fuel is burned, we will get how much mass, total air and mass of the fuel available at state 3, right. So we will write an energy balance equation. It is mass of the air plus mass of the fuel, H3 minus mass of the air, H2 dash, is equal to mass of the CV. Because again if we draw the temperature entropy diagram, right. So mass of the air and mass of the fuel burnt here, which is available at 3, right, and mass of the air. Now here you can see mass of the air is available here. In this process fuel is also added. So enthalpy at 3, mass of the air plus mass of the fuel, mass of the air here is equal to this much heat liberated by the fuel. Or if we divide by mass of the air, because we are assuming 1 kg of air, so 1 plus mf, we will write it m, okay. So it will be from small letter 1 plus mf, H3 minus H2 dash is equal to mf CV. Now H3 will be going to be equal to CPG T3 minus CPA T2 dash is equal to mf CV. CPG is known to us, it is 1.128. So this is 1.128. T3 is also known to us. Now the T3 is we calculated here somewhere here, no, 953, right, 953 Kelvin. This is CPA is 1.005. T2 dash also we calculated earlier. CV is known to us 42,000 kilojoules, because we are dealing in kilojoules and kilowatts. So 42,000 kilojoules per kg. From this equation we can always find the mass of the fuel burned per kg of air. So mass of the fuel burned per kg of air is 0.01375 kg fuel per kg air. Okay. Now this fuel is burned for the per kg of air. So flue gases available for the power output. Now this per kg of air, this amount of fuel is getting missed. So total amount of flue gases is going to be 1 plus mf is going to be equal to 1.01375 mass of the flue gases. And in previously we have already calculated this 0.7183 of flue gases will be used for power generation, right. So, therefore, the mass available for output is 1.01375 minus 0.7183 is equal to 0.2984 kg per 54 kg per kg of air. Now, we are focusing on per kg of air, right. Now, if we multiply this by the total quantity of air supplied, that is 23 kg per second. This is the amount of air which is sucked by the compressor, right. In that case, we will get the mass of the total mass of the flue gases which are used for power generation, that is 23 multiplied by 0.2954, right. And power output is going to be equal to multiply this mass multiplied by Cp, that is what we are supposed to find, calculate the output of the plant and thermal efficiency. So, output is going to be this multiplied by the Cpg, that is 1.128 T3 minus T4 dash. This is the output of the second turbine, and this output is 2105.38 kilowatt or approximately 21 megawatt. So, in this system there is one compressor, there are two turbines, one turbine is driving the compressor, another turbine is giving the output, and the output of the turbine is this much. For finding out the thermal efficiency, this output has to be divided by input. Input is 23 into 0.01375, this is mass of the fuel burned, and multiplied by 42,000, this is the calorific value of the fuel, and this thermal efficiency multiplied by of course 100, and this efficiency is coming out to be 15.8%. So, in a nutshell, what we have done, we have simply take the system is like this. The compressor has taken the air is splitting, one compressor is driving producing sufficient power to drive the compressor, one turbine is producing sufficient power to drive the compressor, another turbine is giving the output. In this system, the efficiency is coming out to 15.8%. Thermal efficiency is coming, it is quite low, but this is not, I mean, because the thermal efficiency is coming low because the maximum temperature is going up to 680 degrees centigrade. If we further increase the temperature, efficiency will improve, because efficiency of the gas turbine is a strong function of the maximum temperature. In any thermodynamic cycle, it is a function of maximum temperature. If you look at, because all the cycles are compared with the Carnot cycle. So, Carnot cycle minimum and maximum temperature, that is taken into the account. So, if we keep on increasing the, and in gas turbines we can go temperature higher than the steam turbines, and with the facility of cooling of modern, I mean arrangement of cooling of blades, very high temperature can be attained in a gas turbine, right. So, next numerical is about the leakage we have discussed in one of the lectures. So, this is the numerical. The numericals are here not to just to check your computational skill, it is just to give you the idea about the physical values, right. Now, suppose there is a numerical on leakage. Calculate the leakage loss through a diaphragm packing in a turbine under the following condition. Steam pressure before nozzle is 14 bar. Steam superheat. Steam superheat before nozzle 55 degree centigrade. Steam pressure after nozzle 12.5 bar. Shaft diameter, this is shaft diameter is 250 mm. Radial clearance between the blades and the shaft is 0.4 mm, because some clearance has to be provided. So, it is not not blade between blade and the shaft, it is housing and the blade edge and the housing, right. Number of constrictions, as I said earlier in the previous lecture, constrictions are provided just to prevent the loss of steam or pressure loss of steam in it. It is a sort of sealing, and constrictions are made of soft material so that the damage of the constriction does not take place. suppose there is accidentally there is a contact between the blade and the constriction, the damage of the blade, not the constriction, takes place. Sorry, the damage of constriction takes place and blade is prevented. Now, coefficient of constriction is 0.75. The coefficient, what is the coefficient? Coefficient is, if we magnify this figure, it is going to be like this. So, steam is passing through the restricted place space, and here also a vena contracta is formed. So, actual cross section area available for the transmission of fluid is less than, it is only 75%, right. So, also calculate the pressure in dual spaces. Okay. So, the pressure is 14 bar, right. According to this pressure, the saturation temperature is 195.04 degrees centigrade. This we can simply take from the steam table. Now, the superheating is 55 degrees centigrade. So, T is equal to 195.04 plus 55 is equal to 250.04 degrees centigrade, right. Now, at this temperature, we look at the superheated table and we get the specific volume also, that is 0.1635 meter cube per kg. Now, area available for steam to pass, that is, we say it is Ag, it is Cc pi d epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is the clearance, and here the epsilon naught is 0.4 mm, right. So, we will take the value of Cc as 0.75, it is already given, pi into diameter is 0.25 meters, in this is 0.4 into 10 to power minus 3. And from here we get the area as 2.356 into 10 to power minus 4. This is the value of Ag, right. Now, we will calculate the critical pressure in the last stage. So, critical pressure is 0.85 P1 divided by under root Zc plus 1.5. Now, Zc, what is the value of Zc here? The value of Zc is 4 and P1 is 14 bar. So, it is 0.85 into 14 into 10 to power 5, let us convert it into the Pascal. We may not, because in that case we will be getting values in Pascal. Otherwise, if we remove this, then we will be getting values in bar. So, 4 plus 1.5 and that is going to be equal to 5.074 into 10 to power 5 Pascal or 5.074 bar. That is the critical pressure. Now, critical pressure is greater than P2, less than, so critical pressure is less than P2. P2 is this 12.5. So, it is less than P2. So, the steam leakage, so because we have different equations for the different conditions. So, steam leakage will be determined by the equation is equal to Ag under root P1 square minus P2 square divided by Zc P1 V1. Now, Ag is known to us. Ag is 2.356 into 10 to power minus 4. We have taken from here this value here, Ag under root P1 is 14 bar, this is 12.5 bar divided by Z is 4, P1 is 14 and V1 we will take from here 0.1635, right, and this mass of the leakage is going to be 0.155 kg per second. So, this is this amount of steam which is getting leaked through the glands, right, because when we want to improve the design, in any design, the estimation may be a rough estimation, but the estimation of all the quantities, only then we can improve upon it. So, here we can find 0.155 kg per second, that is the amount of steam which is being leaked out through the constrictions. So, number of the dwell spaces, because there are 4 constrictions. So, number of the dwell spaces is 1, 2, 3. 3 dual spaces, and now we have to find the pressure in each dual space. So we will use the same formula because they are all in series. So mass flow rate is going to remain in all same in all the dual space. Now let us take first dual space. So if you take the first dual space, the leakage is 1, you will use the same formula, 155 to 1.5 is equal to not 2.356 into 10 to power minus 4, right, under root 14 square minus 12.5 square, and 10 to power 5 square we will take out, divided by now this is ZC is equal to 1. So ZC is equal to 1. So where we were, okay, this is not 12.5, this is not 12.5, this is P2, because P2 12.5 is here and 14 is here, 14 bar is here, 12.5 is here. So this is P2, pressure here. So this is not 12.5, this is P2, and ZC is 4, P1 is 14 into 10 to power 5, and V1 we will take from here 0.1635, right, and from here we will get the value of P2 because all are known, only P2 is unknown, and this 10 to power 5 will be cancelled with this, and here we will get the value of P2 when we are putting the ZC is equal to 4, no sorry, this is ZC. So P2 is equal to under root 196 minus 9.915 ZC constrictions, right. Now we have wrongly we had put 4 here, we will not put 4 here. So there are two unknowns, P2 and ZC. Now I am repeating this, we have used the same formula to find the pressure inside the first constriction. Now pressure in the first constriction is not known, 12.5 is the pressure at the last, and ZC is n is equal to 1, ZC is 1 for here, 2 for this, 3 for this, and mass leakage is known to us. So we have found the pressure in terms of as a function of ZC. Now if we put ZC is equal to 1, we will get P1, this is P, let us say ABC. So we will get PA, dual space, this is known as dual space. Now if we put PB, if we put Z is equal to 2 here, we will get the value of PB. If we put Z is equal to 3 here, we will get PC, right. This is how we can get the pressures in all 3 dual spaces. Now there is one short numerical on the condensers, it is on the condensers. During the test of a condenser, the following readings were taken. Barometric reading 760, it is atmospheric pressure. Condenser vacuum 700 mm, it means the pressure below the atmospheric pressure. So this is 760 suppose. So pressure is somewhere here, this is 700. So 760 minus 700 is the absolute pressure in the condenser. Mean condenser temperature 35 degrees centigrade, right. Hot, because in condenser also, why it is mean condenser temperature, because in the inside the condenser the value temperature changes and it depends upon the presence of air in different parts of the condenser. Hot well temperature 30 degrees centigrade, mass of cooling water 45,000 kg per hour, intake water temperature 17, this is cooling water which is used for the condensers. Mass of condensate is this much of steam is getting condensed. Mass of air present per unit condenser volume, right. Now for this we will start at 35 degrees centigrade. What is the value of pressure? That is 5.629 kilopascal. That is the temperature inside the condenser. So it should have this much of absolute pressure. Now we will calculate what is the absolute pressure inside the condenser, that is 760 minus 700 divided by 760 multiplied by 1.013 into, okay, and it is going to be 7.997 kilopascal. So this pressure is greater than this one. It means the total pressure is the partial pressure of vapor, this is this plus pressure of air. So pressure of air, partial pressure of air can be found out by taking these two difference between these two. So difference between these two means 7.997 minus 5.629, and this is going to be 2.368 kilopascal. Once the pressure of air is known, air is saturated. So not air is saturated, steam is saturated. So mass of the air is equal to PV over RT. Because pressure is low, it can always be considered as a ideal gas. So 2.368 into volume, we can say 1 specific volume, R 0.287, this is the value of R for air, and 273 plus 35, that is the temperature, and we get 0.02679 kg per meter cube of air. Now steam is at, this is hot well temperature 30 degree centigrade, right. So here Q is equal to mass of the steam HS1 minus HWC. Now mass of the steam, this is HW1 plus X lambda 1 minus HWC. Now this is at 35 degree centigrade and this is at 30 degree centigrade. You can see here the mean condenser temperature 35, hot well temperature 30 degree. It means if you look at this condensation process, so it has condensed and it is further condensed. This is 30 degree centigrade, hot well temperature. From here the pump will suck the water and send it to the boiler, and this is the condenser steam temperature, this is 35 degree centigrade. So we have taken the mixture, because after expansion we will get mixture of vapor and liquid. So we have taken property for 35 degree centigrade here and properties at 30 degree centigrade here, and if we take the difference by putting the values, we will be getting 2633400 kilowatts, because mass flow rate is how much, 45,000 kg per hour. So it is going to be kilojoules per hour, because it is kg per hour. So it is going to be the this much kilojoules per hour. So this is mass of the condensate. This is not 45,000. 45,000 is mass of the cooling water. Mass of the condensate is 1200. So this is 1200 kg per hour. Because mass of the steam, that is mass of the condensate, we have taken 1200 kg per hour. That is how we are getting this value. Now how much heat has been removed? That is mass of the cooling water, MCP delta T. Because in the condenser, the heat is suppose there is a surface condenser. So heat removed in the condenser is mass of the cooling water, Cp delta T. Mass of the cooling water is Cp delta T, and then mass of the cooling water is known to us. Cp of water is known to us 4.2, and delta T is also known to us, that is intake water temperature, outlet water temperature. So 31 minus 17 multiplied by specific heat of the water multiplied by 45,000 divided by 3600 will give you the heat removal in kilowatts, and that is coming around 2194.5 kilowatt. Now this heat removal is enthalpy at this minus enthalpy at this. This comes out, so from this energy balance, this enthalpy at this minus enthalpy at this, after getting the mass of the air, we will find how much heat has been extracted in the condenser, right. So this is condenser. After expansion, let us say this is state 1 and the water is getting subcooled to state 2, because state 1 the temperature is 35 degree centigrade, hot well temperature is 30 degree centigrade, right. So we will calculate H1 minus H2. H1 is HF plus X HFG at 35 degree centigrade minus HW2 at 30 degree centigrade. But here the value of X is not known, and this multiplied by 1200 you will get the total amount of heat transmission. But here the value of x is not known. But the cooling water, if you look at the temperature rise of cooling water, that is 17 to 31, and mass flow rate of the cooling water is also known, 45,000. So 45,000 multiplied by 4.18, 31 minus 17 will give us the heat transmission Q. Now this value of Q, if you put here, we will get only unknown remains x, because these values we will get from the steam table, this value we will get from the steam table, the only unknown remains x, and if you manipulate these values, the value of x is 0.9, right. Once the value of x is known, now the next is we have to state the estimated vacuum efficiency. If there is no air, vacuum efficiency is 100%. When there is air, then pressure, the total pressure in the condenser is the sum of the partial pressure of air and the partial pressure of water, right. So in this case, the vacuum efficiency is going to be equal to 70 divided by 76 minus 5.029 into 70 divided by into 76 divided by 101.3. What we have done, the actual vacuum and the ideal vacuum, right. So ideal vacuum has to be more than the actual vacuum. Ideal vacuum when there is no air. Actual vacuum when there is air present in the condenser. In that case, absolute pressure is high. If we manipulate this value, we will be getting 0.975 or 97.5%. This is the vacuum efficiency of the condenser, right. And then last one is condenser efficiency. Condenser efficiency is, efficiency of the condenser is actual temperature difference, ideal temperature difference. Now the actual temperature difference is, ideal temperature difference is 31 minus 17, sorry 35, because the temperature of condensing this is 35. So it is 35 and actual is 31 only. So switch, it is going to be 30 minus 17, this is actual, and this is 35 minus 17. So we are getting this is 31. So we are getting around 14 divided by 18 multiplied by 100. This is going to be the efficiency of the condenser. That is all for today. Thank you very much.